Okay, so a lot of you guys have asked me about my skincare and what I use to have my skin looking so fresh. And I have to be honest with you, there's only very few products that I use on my skin, and even then I don't really, do much with my skin. I'm not gonna lie, I don't actually do much with my skin, but I think what is really important is what you're consuming in your body. That reflects your skin as well. Okay, first of all, I use this machine, and I have a few other attachments to go with this. I've got like a stone, I've got like a brush, I've got like this is like a buffer. Somehow they've all gone missing, but this is what I use on my skin. I use this, I haven't used it for ages though, but I use this on my skin, and I use the Dermalogica Daily Microfoliant. This is the ingredients. Some of it is natural, not all of it. I think it's made up of rice, cellulose, magnesium oxide, sodium, coke oil, isethionate, sodium lauryl. I've never heard of any of these things in here, but it does some wonders for my skin. This brightens up my skin, and like I can tell the next day that my skin is a lot brighter, because I believe that it takes off the dead skin, and it just sort of like illuminates your skin tone. So I love this. Not everyone likes this, but I think this is amazing. I get this from eBay, and I get it for like £10, but you can get the big one for like 30, but I don't have £30. And then I use the multi-active toner. This is what I use straight after my daily microfoliant. I use it as a toner, and just to sort of seal my pores, and then I will do my makeup. But as I said before, I don't do this as often as I should. And then I have these amazing masks that I use. These are lovely. This is a skin hydrating balm, because my skin is dry. It's not oily. I like my face to feel moisturized, and so I use this to hydrate my skin. And I use this whenever I feel like it's time to just have that treatment. So I would first use my daily microfoliant, and then I'd use my mask to hydrate my skin. Now, this feels really nice, and yeah. And then I use as a moisturizer, I would use something natural, which is coconut oil and olive oil. Anything that is natural, I'll use it. Apart from that, I don't actually do anything to my face. I normally use wipes to clean off my makeup. I make sure that my eyes and everything else is clean. I use like wipes, like about a good, I use like 5 sachets of wipes, and then I will just do a facial scrub on my face, and that's about it really, ladies. I'm sorry if it's not enough, but I basically watch what I eat most of the time. Sometimes I have a binge of sweets, which is not good, and I break out. I don't break out on my face, which is something that you didn't know. I break out in areas where you would not dream of. I break out underneath my arms, underneath my breasts, and in between my buttocks. Though it sounds quite funny, it's not. It's really painful. As a teenager going through puberty, I had a lot of uncomfortable and embarrassing situations. I didn't understand what I was going through. When I, you know, when I menstruated, I would break out in boils underneath my arms and in between my legs, near my groin, on my vagina. I'd break out into these things, and I wouldn't be able to walk. I wouldn't be able to put my arm down because of the swelling would be so big and really uncomfortable, to the point where it is just like tormenting. And talking about it now is quite emotional because I had such a hard time, and nobody understood apart from my mum what I was going through. I went to the doctors, and they had no compassion. They'd come, like back in I would say 25 years ago, the doctors would come to your house and they will, you know, see you. And I had this really horrible experience where this doctor came and she put some gloves on and she literally poked the area where it was pussy, and she just showed no compassion at all. Tell me that, you know, I shouldn't wear deodorant. Not that I was wearing deodorant down between my legs, but she didn't have no compassion at all. And I went through this for years. For a good 15 years I went through this. Nobody knew what was going on with me. There'd be a time where I'd have this big swelling underneath my arm, and it would literally take up half of my arm, and I couldn't go anywhere. I'll just be at home with my arm out like this, resting outwards, because I couldn't put my arm down because it would be so painful. Because like I would have like pus collecting in one spot, and it was just so horrific, and I couldn't put my arm down ever. And it got to a point where I was left with scars, or I had like pus everywhere underneath my arms, like little boils and pusses underneath my arms. And it was so embarrassing because I couldn't like wear tops or, you know, wear things because of, you know, the way it looked underneath my arm. Like even it could be coming out the side of my arm, and it was horrible. Like thankfully, like I got away with not going swimming as I got older. Didn't go swimming in my teens, so I could hide the scars and the swellings that I had. It was so horrible, guys. I mean, there'd be times where I couldn't put my leg down. I had to keep my leg open, and then like when actually eventually the head comes up to the top, like then the pus would come out. So I'd have like pus on my leg. This sounds really disgusting, but I'd have pus on my legs. I'd have like scars on my side of my groin, and like, you know, I'd go to doctors and they'd say to me, oh, you need to stop shaving, you need to stop wearing deodorant. And I'll tell them I don't wear deodorant and I don't shave. Like, I'm not doing anything to cause these things. So this went on for like 15 years. And then I fell pregnant with my son, and it got worse. Like, I actually got one into my breast, and then I've got one underneath my arm, like a really big one took over my arm. I just stayed at home, I couldn't go anywhere. And I just got to the point where I was just so fed up with living this way. And it was in 2005 when I went on my computer and typed up my symptoms. And the symptoms I typed up was blackheads underneath armpits and groin. And as soon as I typed that up, I had forums, I had listings of the condition that I had. I found a place where people would share their experiences, and it was really reassuring to me. Like, oh my gosh, I'm not the only person in the world that has gone through this, because I really thought I was the only person. I thought I was so abnormal because I knew nobody at school that had this condition, nobody at all. And so I you know, it was something so personal and something so embarrassing that I couldn't tell anybody. So, you know, on my journey of finding this, you know, the source of what, you know, what it was, I then found a name for it, and the name is HYDRADENTIS suppurative. I went straight to my doctor and told him, this is what I've got. This is what I've got. So he was on it after that. After all these years, they couldn't find out what was wrong with me. I had to go to them and tell them what was wrong with me. And that was the most frustrating time in my life. And then to just turn up to a doctor and tell him what I've got was, you know, they were impressed. Like, they were like, wow, okay. So after he found out what it was, they referred me to the hospital, and I met somebody, and yeah, they referred me to a specialist, and I thought I would have to get my armpits removed, my skin removed underneath my arms, and I heard it's really painful, and I heard it takes a long time to heal. So I thought that was going to happen to me. And I met this doctor, really nice doctor, and he said to me, I've got some really good news for you. You don't have to have surgery. You can use antibiotics. These antibiotics will take away the infections that you have underneath your groin and your armpit area, your pubic area. So I was so thrilled to hear that. I mean, at first I was like, okay, you know, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm gonna try it anyway. So I went home and I took it, I think once a day or twice a day, and within 2 weeks everything cleared up. Everything just went, like, there was no more pus, there was no more boils. It was just all gone. And I was so happy that finally someone's heard me. Finally there is something that can actually help me to overcome this illness, because, you know, that's what it was. And then I found out that a girl I work with had it as well. Oh my gosh, I didn't know that. And the weirdest thing was, yeah, I called in sick one day and I didn't tell her what was wrong. And normally I'll tell people, I'm a bit of a drama queen, I'll tell people what's wrong. And you know, she didn't believe me. But she didn't believe that, you know, I was sick. And then one day we just started talking, because I was talking to my manager about it. And she goes, oh my gosh, I have the same thing. I said, right, really? Oh my gosh. I thought I was the only person in the whole world that had this condition. And so I gave her the name of the antibiotics I was given. And I think she researched. I don't know what happened after that. But guys, I don't know if it's helped somebody, but yeah, this is my skin. This is not that bad, but I have scars underneath my breast as well. And I don't take it all the time because I don't want my body to be dependent on the antibiotics. I want to take it when I feel necessary, because it does work, you know, 2 weeks and it clears you up, but I don't want to be dependent on those things. Had they of diagnosed it earlier, I would have been given antibiotics and it would have cleared away. But it's something that's in my system now, so it's a lot to clear up. But however, as I've gotten older, it is not as intense as it used to be. But after each child, the